I played guitar for more than 40 years. Today I'm going to show you how to play another classic from Lynyrd Skynyrd's second helping, The Needle and the Spoon. Good morning and thanks for dropping by to learn another classic with us here on the couch, and boy do we have a good one for you today. The Needle and the Spoon is another Southern rock gem from Lynyrd Skynyrd's second studio album, 1974's aptly titled Second Helping. Our song today is another esteemed classic from the songwriting duo of Van Zandt and Collins. Alan Collins' wah-wah-soaked guitar solo, atypical for the band, was voted one of the 20 best wah solos of all times in a Guitar World magazine poll. Stick with me till the end of the video and we'll talk more about the song, the band, and a whole lot more. For now, let's jump right in and learn that definitive Skynyrd intro riff. Our song today is in standard tuning. The intro riff consists of two different guitar parts. The first one is playing this. The other guitar is playing this. They both come back together with that little lick at the end, which takes us into the verse. But let's talk about the main guitar's riff first. Starts out with an open D string. And then we have two notes on the B string at the 3rd fret. The biggest challenge for me in learning this song was learning how to properly work my fingers here, because there's a little fast part that comes up towards the end of this riff. But what I found was that if I start out just with my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, that's probably the best way for me. So there's a little bit of a pause after that first hit on the B string. It's almost like a swing. You hear people talk about swinging it, talking about lead lines, I guess. So there's a little bit of pause. You hit it again, and that carries you into your next note, which is going to be the 3rd fret of the A string, which I cover with my middle finger. And we're going to play strings 5, 4, 3, and then go back to 4. So the A string, the D string, the G string, back to the D, and the D and the G are of course open. So far we have, and now we're going to go. So that's the 3rd fret of the D string. We're going to play it twice with just a little slight bend on the second time. And then we play it open. And then we have that little tricky part. This is the tricky part. We're going to play the D string open, and then we're going to hammer on fast from open to 2 on the A string. Now we're going to hammer on fast from 2 to 3 on the A string. It takes a little bit to get the timing down to where you're able to catch it and then go back to the D string. But at first, when I was first trying to figure it out, I was like, I was just playing the D string open and then open on the A, 2 on the A. But if you listen closely, there's the little, you can hear those hammer-ons. And then you go back to the D and you start the same cycle again. So the first time it plays that riff or those series of licks, there's no harmonics going. The second time, as he starts it, the second guitar starts this harmonic section. That is 12, and this is natural harmonics. So just in case you're not familiar with that concept, I'm not playing between the frets, I'm playing over the top of the fret. So at the 12th fret, I'm just barely touching the string over the top of 12. And as I pluck it with the pick, it gives it kind of that ringing bell type sound. And then I'm going to go up here and do the same thing at the 19th fret of the D and the G string. So it's 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to go backwards, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to play the 19th fret of the G and then the D and then back to 12 on the D. And then I'm going to play the 12th fret of the B, the G and the D, and then the 19th fret of the G. The riff that's going on down here, we're going to go through that 4 total times. The first time is with no harmonics. Second time the harmonics kick in, so we're going to go through the harmonics 3 times, but each time is a little bit different. So the second time is like this. So it starts out the same, 12 on the D, 19 on the D and G. Then we're going to go backwards the same way. And then we're going to go B, G, and D, just like before, but we're going to play the 19th fret of the B string this time. So you can tell that that last note is a little bit off. Next time we're going to start it the same, but instead of a harmonic ending, we're going to do this lick. And that's where it catches up to the other guitar that's playing the main riff. So it actually slides up to it. We're going to slide up to the 13th fret of the B string, 12th fret of the G, 10th fret of the G with a little bend to it, and then we're going to hit 12 on the D. So I slide up with my ring finger to kind of get me in position for the other notes. And this song has got quite a few little descending licks like that, which makes it a little bit unusual. At the same time, the guitar's up here playing this. There's a guitar down here playing this. Comes at the end of. So, and you can get some artificial harmonics in there too by, I'm kind of pinching a little bit. I've just got a little bit of pick sticking out between my thumb and my finger. Gary Rossington is super big on pinch harmonics. Ed King was too. And I'm going to play the 5th fret of the G string. Right after the pick rolls off of it, I let the string bounce off my thumb. And that's what gives it that kind of bell sound. So the 5th fret of the G, 5th fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D, and 5th fret of the A string, and that matches what you're doing up here. I think actually the harmonics may end there. So that's just, it starts the same, but it ended with the 19th fret of the G and then the D, and then the 12th fret of the G and then the D. At the same time, the third guitar is doing that. But as a single guitar, which is the way I try to teach these things, as a single guitar, if I were doing it after I did the harmonics, I would end it with that little lick there, which takes us into the verse. So the verse now, again, there's 2 guitars doing 2 different things. One guitar is going to be down here kind of in the same position. It's going to start like this. So it's pretty similar, but we're playing more of an arpeggio instead of open strings. So starts with that same D, but we're forming a D sus chord here. So my index finger is on 2 of the B, middle finger is on 3 of the B. I'm sorry, this index finger is on the G string at 2, 3 of the B. Open on the D, and then 2 on the G, 3 on the B, go back and play the D open. And then we switch over here kind of to like a C chord almost. So it's going to be 3 on the A and 2 on the D. And then I just play down strings 5, 4, 3 and back to 4. And then that same, the 2 times with the little bend on 3 of the D. And then that little lick is the same, open on the D, hammer on open to 2 on the A, hammer on 2 to 3 on the A. Then we're going to hit the D open again, we're going to go right back to it. That little lick there to end it is 3 on the D string, 5 on the D, 3 on the D, and then the open D. At the same time, there's another guitar playing this. At least it plays that the first time through. So what that is, this is a D bar chord here. I'm going to play the A string at the 5th fret, which is covered by my index finger there, and then I've got my middle, or my ring finger is barring the rest of the 7th fret from 4 down. So I just hit that A string once, and then I play the rest of the chord down, and then I'm going to go down here to a C chord. So I just move the same position, exact same position down 1 full step. And I'm just going to play down strings 5, 4, 3, back to 4. And then I'm going to go up here to a bar chord. It's actually an F bar chord. But it's up here. And then I'm going to go back to the D. So far we got now I'm going to play 5 on the A, open A, 3 on the A. And it takes us back into our next time. So now this next time, I'm going to play down strings 5, 4, and 3, same chord, same D bar chord. And even if you want to come back up and hit that A string again, you can. I'm sorry, the D string. And then I'm going to go down to the C, do the same thing. And then I have this F here. So I'm really just playing a dyad. I'm playing 2 notes, the 8th fret of the E and the A string 3 times. And then back to this D bar chord. So that is our basic verse cycle for this guitar. It's going to change slightly because that's only done the first time through when there's no singing. When the singing starts, we're going to go just like down here we went same notes, and you can even do it down here on the D string if you prefer. I just prefer, because I'm doing these bar chords, I like to do it here on the A string. So that is 8 on the A, 10 on the A, 8 on the A, and then back to 5 on the A. But let's run through the whole thing. This guitar just on the verse. We're going to go through it once with the, and then I'll show you how it sounds once you get past that. So real similar, but instead of the, we're going to do the at the end. So the first time through with no singing, you're going to hit those 8s there on the E and the A. Second time through, that part. So it's going to cycle completely through that a total of 3 times. Once with no singing, twice with singing, and then it's going to take us into the chorus, and that's what we're going to talk about right after this. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what we're doing here, I'll ask that you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Your likes, comments, and shares do help our little channel to grow. There are also links in the description to our Buy Me a Coffee page if you'd like to support us with a gratuity in any amount. It's super easy and you don't even need to register to support us in that way. There are also Amazon affiliate links if you need a new set of strings or if you'd like more information on the gear that I use here on the channel. Thanks for all your support in whatever form that may take, and let's jump right back in and talk about the chorus. The chorus is super simple. It sounds like this. So you go right back into the verse at the end of the chorus. It's just one time on each of 4 chords. Starts out with this, and we're just playing the 5 chord too, so a power chord, but it starts out with a D, to an F, to a C, to a G. And then to start your verse, open A to 3 on the A, then you go to the 5, and that's your first note of that chord. Other than the solos, which we're about to talk about, and a couple lead fills that we'll go through, the only other thing that is different is the rhythm section, the verse, once you get to the guitar solo, and then again, as it continues throughout the rest of the song, it has a different tail on it. So we've been used to going, and then we put this tail on it. During the guitar solo, the first time you get to that tail, instead of that, we're going to go. So it's. That's the first time. The second time through the end, it's going to be. So that first time it's just open E, 1 on E, 2 on E, and an open D. The rest of the time it's going to be 3 on the A, 1 on the E, 3 on the E, and then 5 on the E. So it'll be. Before we get into the solos and the lead fills, I want to talk a little bit about the structure of the song. Starts out with that intro riff, which is going to go through a total of 4 times. It is 1 time without the harmonics, and then 3 times with the harmonics. Then we start the verse riff. We're going to go through that 1 complete cycle, which is actually 2. It's the first one ends with a, and then the second one ends with. We're going to go through that 1 time before the singing starts, and then we're going to go through that 2 more times, that whole thing 2 times after the singing start, but remember the tail changes. It goes to for the second one. Then we're going to go completely through the verse, then we go into the chorus. After the chorus, we immediately start a second verse. After that second verse, we start a second chorus. After the second chorus, you hear the harmonics come back in. Does that the first time. And the second time it gets that far, and then it goes into, does that lick again, and we go into the solo, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. It goes through the solo while the solo is playing. Remember, we still have the main riff playing in the background, but we're going to change our tail at the very end. The first time is going to be, after that it's going to be. So we go through that all the way through the solo. It continues with that tail in the verse, another chorus. Then we start up into the end. The end, we're going to do the verse riff, but we're not going to get to the second part of it. It's going to be like this. So it's just going to keep doing that part over and over. I think it does one time do the, so that may be like the fourth time. It might do that every 4 times, come to think of it. But then the lead fills. We've already talked about a couple of the lead fills. We've got the, so that is 13 on the B, 12 on the G, bend up 10 on the G a little bit, and then we're going to end at the 12th fret of the D string. The other way of playing that was down here. That was 5 on the G, 5 on the D, 3 on the D, and then 5 on the A is what you end on. So another one that comes up a couple of times, and there's a couple little variations of it. It's right before Ronnie starts singing the verses, and it's this. So that's the first one. It's going to bend up the 8th fret of the B string with a lot of pinch harmonics. Come back down, play it again. Play 8 on the B. And then it resolves at 7 of the G string. But then you have one last little, it's 5 on the G to 7 on the G to 6 on the B. And that's how it ends. Next time it comes up, it's more like, it's just that part, but it's like a bend up and write it back down. And then you play 6, and then you play 7 on the G, and that's it. So let's get back and start talking about the first solo. So the trickiest thing about figuring the solo out is that it has a wah pedal, which I have just a classic, it's just a crybaby wah that I use. But it's hard to figure out because it's all. See, the wah pedal is going to kind of bend your pitches a little bit, which is makes it a little bit hard to figure out. So what I'm going to do to show it to you, I'm going to start out by turning the wah off. So we're just going to do regular tones without the wah. I'm going to go through them as closely as I can. However, it is difficult to pick some of those notes out. So I'm going to get as close as possible and give you a pretty reasonable facsimile, which is often the case with me in the solos. Hopefully it helps, but I always say use what you like and leave the rest. So the solo starts out right here on the 12th fret of the G string. We're going to bend it up, write it down, bend it up again. Does that while the wah is being bent. Then you have this. And that is just, you've been up 12 on the G. You're going to play straight down on the B and then the E at 10. We're going to do a pull off from 13 to 10 on the B. You're going to hit 12 on the G. And then go back to the E string. Hit the 10th fret of the E string. And then another pull off 13 to 10 on the B. And then 12 on the G, 10 on the B. Pull off 12 to 10 on the G. And we're going to wind up at 12 of the D string. Then we're going to jump down a string and we have something like this. With the wah. So it starts out as a hammer-on from 10 to 12 on the A string, and we're going to go up to 10 on the D string and play it twice. And then from then on, it's just going to be a single one. Does that a few times while the wah is being rocked there, and then we're going to go up and go. So that is 10 on the D string, 12 on the D, back to 10, 12 on the A, 10 on the D, 12 on the A, 10 on the A, 8 on the A, and then 2 times at 10 on the D. Next, we're going to slide up on the A string up to 12, and we're going to go up to 10 and something like this. So slide up to 12, we're going to hit 10 on the D, back to 12 on the A, and then 10 on the G, and we come to rest at 12 on the D string. After that, we have 3 pull-offs, pulling off from 13 to 10 on the B, 12 to 10 on the G, and then 13 to 10 on the E. And then we're going to bend up 13 on the B, and we have several of these. So first, that's bending up 13 on the B, and then hitting the 10th fret of the E string. And then after he does that a few times, then we have some pull-offs from pulling off from 13 to 10 on the E and hitting the B string at 10. And then a couple little ditties in there. It's kind of hard to make out. And then we're going to slide up to 14 on the G. And we're going to go back and forth between 14 on the G and 13 on the B. After a few of those, then we're going to start pulling off from 15 to 13 on the B, and we're going to hit this 14 on the G. Then we go back to the 10th fret, and we're going to hammer on from 10 to 13 3 times. Then we're going to hit 10 again. We're going to hit 10 on the E and go back to 13 on the B. And then we have several pull-offs, whether it's the B string or the E string or even the G string. We're going to be pulling off from 13 to 10 with 12 below being our kind of our pivot point. And we're going to pull off from 13 to 10 on the E. We're going to do some bend ups on 13, and then down here there's some pull-offs from 12 to 10. Hitting 12 on the D below. So that goes on for a little bit, and it's all box 1 of the pentatonic blues scale. So then at the end of the solo, we have this interesting little passage. And then we go back into right back into the last verse. So that is this. We're going to slide up to 7 on the G. Play it twice, go to 5. So we play it 3 times at 7, then go to 5 and back to 7. And then we're going to go up to 6 on the B, play it twice. So that is hammer on the G from 5 to 10. Pull off back to 5, slide, 7 to 10. Slide down to 5, back to 7, and then we come back to 6 on the B, and that is just 8 on the B 2 times. Hammer on to 8, pull off to 6, back to 7 on the G, and then So that is a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the G, hit 6 on the B, go back 7 to 5 on the G, hammer on 5 to 7 on the D, go to 5 on the G, back to 7, back to 5 on the D, and then we got a big bend up with pinch harmonics on 5 of the G. And that gets us right back into the verse. And then we have the outro solo. That's where the verse riff changes to where it just does the first part of it. Does that over and over. While that's going on, we've got the outro solo, and we'll talk about that next. So our outro solo starts out on the 10th fret of the G string. Something like that. It bends up and bends down just on the 10th fret of the G string. So I'm just bending up. There's just 2 notes there I'm hitting, and I'm doing it all with bends. And then when you get back there, we're going to bend up 8 on the B string real high. Like more than a step, and we're also going to give it some pinch harmonics. And then we're going to go to 7 on the G. 10 on the D, 7 on the G, and then back to 10 on the G, and then that's a hammer on from 7 to 10 on the G, pull off back to 7 and back to the 10th fret of the D, back to 7 on the G, and we end at 10 on the G string. Next, we're going to slide up. I use my index finger. We're going to slide up to 10 on the G, and then we're going to hit 10 on the E and then the B. And then we're going to hit 13 on the B and back to 10 but on the E. And we're going to do that repeatedly. So we're going from 10 on the B to 13 on the B to 10 on the E. Then there's like 3 bends up there on the 13th fret of the E string. And then we go to the 13th fret of the B, bend it up, 15 on the B, 13 on the G. And then we're going to do this little pattern here. It's 13 on the E, 15 on the B, and 14 on the G. Several times. And then we're going to slide up to 15 on the B, and we're going to go 13, 14, 15 on the E, 3 bends up at 15, that's a bend up at 15, write it down, pull off to 13 on the E, 15 on the B, 13 on the B, and come to rest there at 14 of the G string. Next, he slides up here. So we're at 17 and 15. Slide up to 17 on the D, 15 on the G. That is 15 to 17 on the D, back to 15 on the D, 17 on the A, 15 on the A, 15 on the D, 17 on the D. And then he goes up and bends 17 of the B, hits 17 of the E with the pinky, and then he does some more. some of that right in there between 15 and 17 in that position, and then the song starts to trail off and fade out, and that's pretty much the rest of the song. So again, with the solos, hopefully it's beneficial. I know it's not perfect. Take what you like, leave the rest, and I hope this has been a good song for you to learn. Thank you. The Needle and the Spoon is the 6th Skynyrd song that BB and I have covered here on the channel. It's the 5th written by Van Zandt and Collins. In those other videos, we talked a lot about the band and some of the legendary stories of their rise to superstardom and the toll that it took on them. One band member that we've not talked much about is Ed King, who played a major role on the Second Helping album. Sweet Home Alabama, arguably the band's biggest hit, is widely considered to be Ed King's baby. Ed was initially kind of an outsider to the band. Ronnie had recruited Ed from the LA band Strawberry Alarm Clock. You may recognize them from their psychedelic 1967 hit Incense and Peppermint. Ed was the only band member on those first 3 albums that wasn't from the South. He was a Southern California surfer kid thrown in with a bunch of rough and rowdy rednecks, and that wasn't always easy for him. Gary Rossington said that Ed was the most professional member of the band, and in many ways he was one of the driving forces behind their meteoric rise. It's said that Ed was ever the businessman and entrepreneur. He was known for investing in large quantities of food and snacks for the long bus rides on tour. He then operated his own unregulated concession business right there on the bus, selling said items to his bandmates at a huge profit, which may not have helped his cause. Between recording Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd and Second Helping, the band had gone on tour in support of The Who, and it's been said that this tour broke the band. While Second Helping brought a second helping of monster radio hits and new levels of success, the young men who made up Lynyrd Skynyrd were spiraling to new lows as addiction and excess crept in and took a heavy toll. Ed King left the band in 1975 following an incident in which Ronnie had taken Ed's guitar tech out drinking. He was supposed to be preparing Ed's guitars for a show, but instead had neglected his professional responsibilities with immunity from the band's leader, Ronnie. The ensuing argument was more than the relationship could stand at that time, and Ed left the band immediately. The Needle and the Spoon, of course, is an anti-drug song. Its lyrics tell the story of the cycle of addiction. I couldn't find any interviews or anything written by the band specifically about this song, but I have to wonder if it wasn't written as a warning to the band. Much has been written and said about the band's descent into the depths of alcohol and drug use and the consequences that they faced for it. That Smell, of course, was written following Gary and Alan both being involved in serious auto accidents while under the influence. Ronnie had seen the writing on the wall and had wanted to warn everyone that if they weren't careful, they could lose everything they had. I wonder if The Needle and the Spoon wasn't perhaps a precursor to That Smell. I know the cycle of addiction all too well, and I've spoken here on this channel about my own personal struggles with addiction to opiates and alcohol. I've known far too many people that lost everything to addiction, some even their lives. I personally found my way out through a real and personal relationship with Jesus Christ. His word says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's exactly what The Needle and the Spoon is about, and that's exactly what they do. Jesus has come, however, that you might have life and have it more abundantly. He is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by the Son. The bad news is that the wages of sin is death and that none of us are righteous, not one. The good news is that the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. The good news is that God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. The good news is that if you confess the Lord Jesus with your mouth and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. If you're struggling with addiction, or even if you aren't, I would encourage you to pick Jesus. I'd encourage you to seek him out with all of your heart. There is no other name under heaven by which any man might be saved. Eternal life is a free gift, but like any gift, you have to accept it to make it your own. If you've not got yours yet, get it today. Today is the acceptable day of salvation. No one is guaranteed tomorrow. I'm so thankful that you've spent your time here with us today. I sincerely hope that it's been beneficial to you, and I sincerely hope to see you back again soon, right here on the couch.